Welcome to African Tales by Dupe. Moni was a stunning beauty with a radiant smile and piercing brown eyes that seemed to sparkle with mischief. Her long curly hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall of black silk, and her fashion sense was always on point. She had a flair for the dramatic, often wearing high-slit skirts that showcased her toned legs and stylishly accentuated her curves. As she walked into the church, all eyes were on her. She had a way of moving that was almost hypnotic, exaggerating the way of her hips and making her backside jiggle with every step. She would quickly exchange greetings with the men around her, her voice husky and seductive as she said, "Bless you, brother." It was a greeting that was both innocent and provocative, and Moni knew exactly what she was doing. She was a master of manipulation, using her charm and beauty to get what she wanted. And what she wanted was attention from every man in the church. Some people, she was friendly, but to the promiscuous men, they knew exactly what she wanted. Her body language says it all. Also, for every smart person that reads body language, they knew exactly what she wanted. But some people still regard her as just being friendly and a simple person. Her gaze, and that of the head pastor's wife, Sister Margaret, would often meet, and she would shake her head. Moni would instantly act ignorant. Their eyes in that moment were conversing, but sneaky Moni would quickly look away. Ever since Moni moved into the church, Sister Margaret knew exactly who she was and exactly what she wanted. All Sister Margaret needed was evidence. Sister Margaret saw through her and hated her guts. Sister Margaret would never seize the opportunity to advise her daughter at any given opportunity, using Sister Moni as an example, telling her that she should never be like Moni. Moni is such an embarrassment to womanhood, throwing herself to men in the house of God. But Mommy, Sister Moni is just a nice lady, said Rachel. If this is your definition of nice, please stay wicked, my daughter. I am raising my kids to be godly, not ending up as what I don't know, said Sister Margaret. Make sure you are as far away from Moni as you can. Yes, Mommy, Rachel said, nodding in agreement. As the choir mistress, Moni was always front and center, leading the congregation in song and praise. But all Moni was interested in was leading the men in the church astray, and she was very good at it. But behind her captivating smile and charming stage presence, Moni hid a dark secret, a secret that would soon be exposed, sending shockwaves through the church and beyond. Just like every typical Sunday morning at the Only Trinity Church, the congregation were buzzing with excitement, eagerly awaiting the morning sermon. As the choir took their positions on the stage, their mistress, Moni, she stood tall, a powerful voice ringing out across the congregation. During every church service, Moni was of the habit of walking up and down, out of desperation for attention. She had made herself so overactive that she can't sit still through the church service. The naive church member would call her active. Sister Margaret would roll her eyes whenever she heard such remarks, because she could see through her. Moni would often meet up with male church members for prayer sessions, Bible studies, and fellowship. But as time went on, Moni found herself drawn to the charming and handsome Brother Johnson. He was a young, newly-wedded man who had just joined the church. Moni would often find excuses to touch Brother Johnson, whispering sweet nothings into his ears. At first, Brother Johnson was hesitant, but Moni's persistence wore him down. They began an illicit affair, sneaking around the church. But Moni's desires didn't stop there. She began to seduce other churchmen, using her charm and beauty to lure them into her bed. Moni's antics didn't go unnoticed for long. She began to ruin homes, breaking up marriages, and causing chaos wherever she went. She would often manipulate the men she slept with, using them to get what she wanted. She slept with Brother Smith, a deacon in the church. She convinced him to embezzle church funds to buy her expensive gifts. She slept with Brother Williams, a married man with 3 kids, and convinced him to leave his wife for her. The church members were oblivious to Moni's way, but the pastor's wife, Sister Margaret, suspected something. She would often warn the pastor, "That Moni is a Jezebel. She's going to bring shame to this church one day, I tell you." The pastor would often reply, "Sister Margaret, may God have mercy on you. She's just an active, innocent girl." "Okay, oh," Sister Margaret would reply. And one fateful day, Sister Margaret caught Moni and Brother Johnson in the act in the church. She was shocked, outraged, and heartbroken. The news spread like wildfire through the church, and soon everyone knew about Moni's illicit affairs. The pastor was so devastated. He had trusted Moni, and she had betrayed that trust. The church members were shocked and outraged. Some demanded that Moni be fired, while others called for her to be forgiven. Moni was summoned to the pastor's office, where she was confronted by her actions. She broke down in tears. "I'm sorry, Pastor," she sobbed. "I am so sorry. It will never happen again." The pastor looked at her with disappointment. "Moni, you have brought shame to this church. You must step down as the choir mistress and seek forgiveness from the congregation." Moni didn't feel sorry, but she acted as if she was, and she played along. She decided to step down as choir mistress, but deep down, she was plotting and planning on her next move. She must snatch her man for herself by all means. She began the journey of pretending to seek for forgiveness and redemption. A few months later, as it seemed like Moni was on the path of redemption, a shocking revelation threw everything off balance. Brother Johnson's wife, Sister Abigail, stood up during a church service and revealed a secret that would change everything. "Moni is not the only one who has been unfaithful," Sister Abigail said, her voice shaking with anger. "My husband, Brother Johnson, has been having an affair with Rachel as well, the pastor's daughter." "What? That's not true," Rachel exclaimed. "Never," Sister Margaret screamed. "My daughter can never do such. It is impossible." The congregation gasped in shock. The pastor's face turned bright red with anger and shame. Moni's eyes widened in surprise. But Sister Abigail had proof. She pulled out a series of text messages and photos that showed Brother Johnson's illicit affairs. The congregation was in an uproar. Some people were screaming, and others were calling for the pastor's resignation. Moni was stunned. She had thought she was the only one who had been unfaithful, but now she realized that her church was a house of commotion. She smiled quietly. Rachel ran out of the church out of shame, trying to run away. Her mother ran after her. She caught her at the car park. She grabbed her, screaming and crying. "You're such a shameless girl. You have brought shame to me, Rachel." Rachel was quiet. All she wanted to do was run to avoid this embarrassment. Back in the church, as the chaos erupted around her, Moni knew that she had to make a choice, to either stay in the church, to snatch herself a man by force because she was desperate, or move to the next church and find men to mess with.